This is KUGAN CASSIUS for Rifle TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marlborough. We're in New York here at the theatre, Madison Square Garden.
Yes.
With me I've got from K2 Promotions, Tom Loeffer. How are you, Tom?
I'm great. Great, KUGAN. We had a great media day today here at the theater at MSG. We're going to be completely sold out. It'll be over 20,000 people. It's full capacity at Madison Square Garden. And, having an event where you have two middleweight champions fighting against each other, the two biggest punching middleweights in the sport today, and then you have a co-feature like Chocolatito Gonzalez versus Brian Valoria. I mean, you can't get anything better than that. So you see the reaction from the fans, from the media, and it's just a great start to fight week.
When I spoke to you in Dusseldorf before this fight was announced, you promised that there was something quite special in the pipeline for Gennady, and Lemieux and Golovkin's a fantastic fight, Tom.
It's a terrific fight. It's an old school fight, like Gennady says. It's original boxing. It's gonna be no dancing in the ring. It's gonna be two guys coming at each other. They don't have a backwards gear, and we don't know how many rounds it's gonna go. But as long as it lasts, there's gonna be a lot of action in that fight.
Some people suggest that Lemieux's style is made for someone like Golovkin, and the fight won't go as long as 4 or 5 rounds. What do you think about that?
Well, there's no question that both guys have a lot to lose, and there's a lot at risk. Although with the promotion and the publicity for this event, I don't think there is. You can say there would be a loser, but the thing is that a lot of the critics and a lot of the people say they want to see how Gennady reacts if he gets hit by a big puncher, and arguably Lemieux and Gennady are the two biggest punchers. So if Lemieux hits Gennady, a lot of people want to see how he's going to react, and that's the intrigue on the fight. If Lemieux can hurt Gennady, or if Gennady can even be hurt.
We know that Canelo fights Cotto 21st of November next month in Las Vegas.
Right.
What do you think the likely chances are that the winner of that will face the winner of this?
Well, the WBC has mandated that the winner of Cotto Canelo has to fight the winner of Golovkin Lemieux. So it's a great time for the middleweight division. You got those two title fights. You got Andy Lee fighting in the UK December 19th, the WBO title. You got Quillen and Jacobs fighting December 5th here. So you got 4 great middleweight fights in 3 months. I mean, it's a terrific time for the middleweight division.
Absolutely. Like I said, next year there could be potentially some. There's already some super fights this year, but pick the winners.
The winners against each other.
It's
going to be a great. It's a great timing, and you see that the best rise to the top, and that's the whole thing. Gennady's always said is that he wants to show and prove that he's the best middleweight champion, and we've tried. Since he won the title in 2010, we've tried to get another champion to get in the ring with him, and it hasn't worked so far. So that's why we give Lemieux a lot of credit, we give Golden Boy a lot of credit for taking the fight. And it's a dangerous fight. It's a dangerous fight for both guys. You could say arguably it's the two biggest punchers that each other has fought, and that's what provides a lot of the intrigue and the interest for this fight.
Are you still optimistic of a Froch Golovkin in the future, even though Froch is retired?
Well, that's up to Carl. It's up to Eddie. I think Eddie was for it. Look, it's like with Floyd. If Carl retires, you can't force him to take a fight. But I think there was a lot of intrigue in that fight because then Carl would have been the biggest guy Gennady would have fought. But he's 100% focused on Lemieux. His focus and his priority is unifying the middleweight division. If there's a big fight that comes up like that, then he'd certainly be interested. And you can't take anything away from Carl. With the fight between him and George Groves, did 80,000 people there at Wembley Stadium. So that's a huge event. But right now everyone's focused on this event. It's on pay-per-view, HBO over here. It's going to be on BoxNation in the UK, and it's a great international event.
Absolutely. Moving on to November 28th.
Yeah.
Finally, it's on again. There was talk about this fight potentially happening in February next year, but it's only a month apart from this original scheduled date, which would have been next week. So right. Klitschko Fury is on. It's
on. It's a big event, in more ways than one. Fury is actually taller than Vladimir. He's got a longer reach, but and is a great self-promoter. When he had the Batman costume at the press conference in the UK, it's like everyone was talking about that. Even non-boxing fans were coming up to me and said, "Oh yeah, I saw Batman at the press conference." So you got to give a lot of credit for Tyson. He's the mandatory challenger. He's another undefeated heavyweight that Vladimir's going to get in the ring with. And Vladimir right now, his reign is reaching historic proportions. He's the second longest reigning heavyweight in boxing history, And when you have a great matchup like someone against Tyson Fury, who Tyson, he's not afraid of Vladimir. I mean, he's shown that there's no fear at all getting in the ring with him, and this is something that he sought out. He wants to fight. He got himself into a mandatory position with Vladimir, and there's going to be a lot of action in that fight as well.
Tom, what do you say to people who suggest that Vladimir needed more time for this fight?
Well, it certainly wasn't rushed, and he had the doctor's approval and the diagnosis that 30-day rest period and therapy, he'd be ready to get back into the ring, get back into training, and then get back in the ring. And so November 28th was a safe date to resume that, and we were pushing for that because it was important to try to get that fight in still this year. And but there's no way. I mean, that's such a dangerous fight with Fury, and boxing is such an all-or-nothing sport. And Vladimir has worked too hard to get himself in the position he's at right now to go into the ring without the proper preparation. Or, there's always going to be little nicks and bruises, but if you have a torn calf muscle, there's no way you can compete in a boxing match that way.
Okay, Tom. All right, listen, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Like I said,
Great.
Lots of great events to finish off the end of the year. So
thanks, Kugan. We appreciate it. Appreciate you coming over from the UK to support this event, and for all the fans around the world to tune in, because this is really going to be one of those special shows that you got a lot of quality fighters on at the same night.
Tom LOEFFLER, thank you very much.
Thanks, Cougs.
Cheers.